Today we're at the Association for the Study of African American Life and History's Black History Month Luncheon, and we are lucky and privileged to have the Executive Director, Miss Sylvia Cyrus.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here with you, Anton.
No, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, and I would like to personally thank you for everything that you do to maintain the association and to make sure that we have, institutional heritage and legacies, that one day these younger individuals, when they learn and find out what ASALH actually is, they have a space to come to. So
right.
Hats off to you.
Thank you so much for that. Certainly I walk in the footsteps of a giant. I pale in comparison to anything and everything that he did, but it's an honor to be in this seat. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who founded this organization, was a phenomenal individual. And even through his institution building, which he was very much about, I always say that Dr. Woodson really showed the power of one person with an innovative idea, what he knew was right in his heart, that our people were not being treated the way that we should be treated because our history had been marginalized, that we didn't really have a history.
And hold on, for those who don't know, who is Dr. Carter G. Woodson?
Dr. Carter G. Woodson is the undisputed father of Black history. He is, as most people know him, the founder of Negro History Week, which this association, which is where he did the majority of his work, in 1976 went to the world and said, a week is not enough, and we founded Black History Month. But he was a scholar. He was an innovator. He was really just an extraordinary individual. He was determined, and again, he was one man who sought to change the world, and he was extremely successful. And here we are 103 years later, still doing the mission of this association to research, preserve, and disseminate the works, scholarship about the contributions of African Americans and those in the African diaspora. So it's really important work. And I say to those of you who are listening, that especially in this day and time, it's important that we belong to institutions.
Correct.
We know how important it is for you to be individually successful and make things happen, and that's good and that's important. But it's only when you take someone else's hand and you learn to work together, because the fist is more powerful than the finger. Two brains are better than one, and we just have to be about family in our community, and it's working together. And quite honestly, it's not always the easiest thing to do, but it's something that we must do.
Exactly.
Because as a community, we will not thrive and survive if we do not come together. And we have that example from the majority communities. That's what they do. And so we have to not be divided. We have to not be as divisive. We have to be about the right thing and come together to do that. So that's why I'm inspired by Dr. Woodson.
Yeah.
It's a daunting task, and I could only imagine. I mean, I do a lot of administrative work and functions like this to get the community out. We have 1,000 people who have come out today to celebrate Black History Month and to talk about our theme, African Americans in Times of War. And individuals come here so that they want to hear a different perspective. They may have in their minds what they think it may be. And for today, we have a lot of veterans in our audience. As a matter of fact, we just got finished celebrating the service of Vietnam vets. This is the 50th anniversary of Vietnam, and those are men and women who did not get their just desserts when they
Correct.
came back from that conflict. And a lot of our American community, but particularly our African American community, is still suffering from what happened to those men then.
A lot of trauma.
And women. And so when we look at this theme, we're saying it's not just the veterans, but what did it do to the community? What did it do to the families and those type of things? And in many ways, because we are patriotic, we may not always like what America stands for all the time, but this is our home. And we serve in great numbers and have in every war and conflict that this country has ever engaged in. But we want to make sure that people understand that wars change lives. Sometimes, you look at World War I. This is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, when those colored men and Negroes came back from the European front. They had been treated differently in Europe than they were here. And as in many conflicts, they came back home and could be killed just for wearing their uniform because there are people who did not want to see them in that light. But we have to prevail no matter what. And it's just really important that that's what we do. So
Yeah.
that's what we're celebrating today.
Yeah, because I believe to the mainstream, we had so many comedians creating jokes that became a part of the cultural memory, are words that were often repeated by individuals who are undereducated and don't know who Black History Month is. Basically saying that they gave us February because it was the shortest and coldest month of the year. What do you say to that?
Well, of course, they didn't give us anything, and they don't. Dr. Woodson started Negro History Week in February because it was the week that African Americans were celebrating anyway. We were celebrating Abraham Lincoln's birthday. We were celebrating Frederick Douglass's birthday. And Dr. Woodson did not want the celebrations to continue just around individuals, but more about the race. So I encourage your listeners to do more research. I wish I had more time to talk to you, but
And to become members.
And become members.
Because we often say that, well, slavery damaged African Americans and we don't have any institutions, but ASALH has been around for 103 years, guided by a phenomenal Black woman, Miss Sylvia Cyrus, and
thank you.
Everyone is Black and proud, Black and loud, but they're not members of ASALH.
That is correct.
So how would one join ASALH, and what's the benefits to becoming a member?
Well, you can join ASALH online. Our website is www.asalh.org, or you could call our office at 202-238-5913, and you can become a member. And for a small fee, we have senior membership, student membership, general membership. If you have an institution, if you have a church, or if you have a sorority, fraternity, other organization that wants to join, we have membership for that. And you get our publications. You get discounts to our events. You get a chance to get information that you can use for programming yourself, but also there's a great fellowship that you have by coming together with like-minded people who are interested in promoting our history. By this event today, we have an author's book signing where over 40 authors and vendors have come in from all across this nation just to be in this mix, a very positive opportunity to come together as Black people. So we make these events so that they really leave you with something special. We just had a phenomenal first cadet of West Point, Miss Simone Askew. She is the first African American first cadet. She leads over 4,000 cadets at West Point. And we brought her here today so we could celebrate what she does and to be an inspiration to other young people, that you could be the first, second, third, fourth, 90th person of excellence in our community to really help America be better and to make the nation better. So I've really enjoyed this opportunity to talk to you, Mr. House, and to your listeners, and I look forward to an opportunity again. Have a great day, but remember our history. It's so important.
So remember, everybody, it's been too long. Come back home. Join ASALH.